this morning, sun's a bit hazy. Checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert. But we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's do this, guys. Let's make this happen. Right here and now. Let's kick this can. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're on the air today for you, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Katy Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Welcome to our program, guys. We've got a lot of things to talk about. The first thing we want to talk about tonight is a fireball seen over Idaho, Oregon, and also Utah. Okay, parts of northern Utah also saw it. Okay, I'm going to pick that up right now and show you a picture of what happened. Dadgum. Technology sucks sometimes. Technology sucks. Okay, this is the fireball that was seen. Okay, let me give you a little background on this. Okay, a brilliant meteor that's associated with the Perseid meteor shower that's ongoing right now lit up the Pacific Northwest skies about 12:48 a.m. this morning, August 14th. The space rock first appeared over Soap Lake, Washington, traveling north at 33,000 miles per hour. Unreal, huh? 33,000 miles per hour. It traveled 36 miles through the atmosphere before it broke up near Sims Corner with the energy of 10 tons of TNT. 10 tons of TNT, it broke apart. It made the sound barrier go crazy. Sightings and loud sonic booms were stretched across Washington, Oregon, northern Idaho, British Columbia. I heard even northern Utah. The fireball, like I said, part of the preceding meteor shower was near visible over Washington primarily, and also northern Idaho. This picture was captured in Post Falls, Idaho. One person said, quote, "I was awake. The flash lit up the entire room. This occurred again at 12:48 p.m. Excuse me, not p.m. 12:48 a.m. today, August 14th. Huge meteor, guys. I've seen this happen before. This is not unusual by any stretch of the imagination. This does happen. Okay, even the northern tier of states, Vancouver, Alberta, Canada area, they saw it and felt it. Sonic booms are felt, guys. Sonic booms are felt. Unreal. Uncut and pick and real, guys. Okay? Now, what I want to talk about first are earthquakes. Earthquakes around the world. Then we'll get into the primary discussion of this program, the big one. The big one, guys. I've talked about the big earthquake. Southern California and Northern California. Okay? Get prepared for it, guys. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. That I can promise you. Okay? You can take that to the bank. Let's go over the USGS map here momentarily. I want to show you what's going on here. Okay? I'm going to break it out so you can see the entire Pacific Rim of ocean here. The Pacific Rim is only there because it's part of the subduction area. Great big huge subduction zone with volcanoes and earthquakes. Volcanoes and earthquakes, guys, all over the place. I'm going to take down our EMA banner right now. I'm going to take down webcam as well. I first want to go over to this area right here. Okay, the Caribbean Sea. Okay, right here. Over here in Puerto Rico. Southwestern Puerto Rico here, guys. We had a 3.3 small earthquake here in southwestern Puerto Rico. Why? What had happened? These two earthquakes right here happened as a result of two major earthquakes that hit here December 26th and December 28th, 2019. 8.0, 8.4 earthquakes. 8.0 and 8.4 earthquakes, guys. That's the truth. Now I'm going to put up the EMA webcam again, and I want to show you what actually happened. See this name right here? Please do not put this in the chat. I do not want to see this in the chat at all. Putting it in the chat could get this channel taken off the air. Okay? Kristen Cash is asking, will that trigger the Cascadia? It could possibly do that. It could possibly do that. I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Okay? But these two earthquakes in Puerto Rico hit as a result of these people here. These people here. They opened up the facility in Norway. They opened up a facility in Russia. They opened up a facility in northwestern Australia. When they activated these facilities, guys, what happened? They triangulated Puerto Rico. They triangulated Puerto Rico, guys. And as a result, we had an 8.0 and 8.4 earthquake. It happened. December 26th and December 28th, respectively. Huge earthquakes. Huge earthquakes, guys. Today, in southwestern Puerto Rico. Right here. Okay? This was a 2.2 minor earthquake here. Near Margus, Aribe, Puerto Rico. This earthquake right here. This happened in Mayaguez, Puerto Rico, a 3.1 earthquake. 3.1 earthquake. Okay, aftershocks. Aftershocks of that 8.0 and 8.4 earthquake. 8.0 and 8.4 earthquake. Okay, December 26th and December 28th. It completely destroyed the power grid in Puerto Rico. It knocked it offline for months. Months, guys, not days. Okay? It also because it knocked out the electricity, the water was also knocked out. You can't have water in your homes without power. Without power, they were without water. They had to have water shipped in and delivered to their homes and cities where citizens could pick it up. Their food had to be trucked in anyway. Without power, the stores couldn't operate cash registers. They had real problems. Homes and businesses were collapsed, pancaked. Pancake, guys, that happened. We've talked about these earthquakes before, what happened, and I've talked extensively how they could happen again. We're going over to the Caribbean Sea right now, just south of this Mona Passage here. This body of water between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico is called the Mona Passage. Just south of the Mona Passage here, in the Caribbean Sea, we have a 3.7 earthquake here. 3.7 earthquake here on the edge of the plate. Okay? The northern edge of the plate is right here. The Cayman Ridge. The Cayman Ridge, guys. The Cayman Ridge originates over here in Guatemala. Then it stretches over here throughout the Caribbean Sea, goes up here to the north, about 100 miles to the north, where it goes just south of the Cayman Islands here. Then it continues its journey eastbound, north of Jamaica. It skirts the westbound territories of Guam, continues its journey east, north of Haiti, north of the Dominican Republic, north of Puerto Rico here, dropping off earthquakes all the time. But the Cayman Ridge didn't drop off that big, huge earthquake that I just talked about. Those two earthquakes I just talked about. It did drop off this earthquake right here. This is the 3.0 earthquake. Happened 74 kilometers east of Cruz Bay, U.S. Virgin Islands. Okay? This Cayman Ridge continues its eastbound journey till it gets out here into the Atlantic Ocean. Then it turns southbound. Turns southbound east of the Leeward Islands here. Continues southbound until it gets over here to northern South America. Then it turns east, turns westbound here. Goes into northern Venezuela here, where we had that earthquake in Caracas. Caracas, Venezuela, guys. Those people still digging out today. Those people still digging out today. Okay? Earthquakes continue to hit. Literally all over. Literally all over, guys. Now, USGS not showing any earthquakes at all in South America. That's a fallacy, guys. That's a fallacy. 38 earthquakes hit in South America today, mostly in central Chile, northern Chile, and going up into Colombia, and also Venezuela. Okay? Over here in the southern Pacific Ocean, right here. Okay? Solo, Vanuatu. This is a 4.5 earthquake. 4.5 earthquake, guys. This happens to be 565 kilometers deep. A deep earthquake. Deep earthquake. This earthquake is going to be propagating a larger shallow earthquake within the next 3 to 10 days. This 4.5 earthquake is going to propagate a 5.6 earthquake in the next 3 to 10 days. A 5.6 shallower and stronger earthquake. Here in the central part of the Pacific Ocean, and it also could be birthed over here into Argentina or even Chile. That could happen. It's happened before in the last 7+ years I've been on the air. Also, it could go over here, travel down south here into New Zealand. We're expecting a very large earthquake to hit here on the western or eastern shores of the North Island of New Zealand. the eastern shores of the North Island of New Zealand, an 8.0 megathrust earthquake. We talked about that before as well. Okay. Also over here, okay, the Solomon Islands this time. This is a 4.8 earthquake here. This earthquake is much shallower than the one in Vanuatu. This is only 49 kilometers deep. Shallow earthquake. Again, USGS is not showing any earthquakes in Papua New Guinea, Papua Indonesia, or anywhere in Indonesia at all. Not showing a darn earthquake at all. Over here in northern Indonesia, south of the Philippines here, we have a 4.7 moderate earthquake here near Tobelo, Indonesia. Again, this is a shallow earthquake, 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles deep. Shallow earthquake. South of Mindanao, Philippines. See this island right here? This is Mindanao, Philippines, the largest island in the Philippine chain. 4.7 earthquake south of the island here, the main island. 4.7 earthquake, also shallow earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. This is not the only earthquake here as well. There are about 10 other earthquakes here in the southern Philippines region. USGS, again, is not showing them to us. Unreal. They decided whether they're going to show earthquakes or not. Right now, the USGS is saying there's 250 earthquakes worldwide. What a joke. What a joke. There's about 1,750 earthquakes worldwide right now. Further north here. Further north here. This time I'm talking about the Bonin Islands here, Japan. South of Japan, about 200 miles south of Japan. 4.8 earthquake. This happens to be 516 kilometers deep. 516 kilometers deep. That's huge. That's huge. In my broadcasting career here on YouTube, I've never seen an earthquake here in the Bonin Islands. Actually, it's 516 kilometers deep. In this case, let's go over to the depth to magnitude conversion chart here. Okay? Want to show you what happened here. What's going to happen. Okay? Over on the third column from the left, we go over and look at 515 kilometers deep. We're going to add a 1.04 to this magnitude here. 1.04 to the magnitude here. It's a 4.8 earthquake. So we're going to add a 1.04 to the magnitude of this earthquake, and it's going to be a 5.8 to 5.9 earthquake in the next 3 to 10 days. Here in this region, guys, it can affect Hong Kong. It can also affect Taiwan as well. It can affect Tokyo, all of Japan. 5.8 earthquake is due here in the next 3 to 10 days. Okay? I just got it in my ear here. My device told me we've had a major earthquake here in this region here. This is off the coast of central Japan here. Excuse me. Off the coast of Honshu, Japan, we just had a 4.8 earthquake here. 4.8 moderate earthquake here. This also is 10.6 kilometers deep. Let me go to my device here. Let's go to my device here. Okay. I want to show you this earthquake that just happened. Major earthquake. Major earthquake. Okay, it's in Indonesia, in the Flores region of Indonesia. 7.5 earthquake. Major earthquake here, guys. It happened right down here. Right down here. Okay? Just south of these islands here. Right here. Right there. That's where it hit. 7.5 earthquake here. This is a major earthquake. This is a very major earthquake. Now, guys, this is south of Bali, Indonesia. The last time we had an earthquake like this, there was a tsunami in Bali, Indonesia. There was a tsunami in Bali, Indonesia. Now, guys, I'm going to go over here right now and look at what we're going to see here. So just hang in here with me, guys. We've had these earthquakes happen before, and I'm going to give you information on the dot as it's happening. Okay? USGS has upgraded this earthquake. They've upgraded the earthquake, and they've changed the location as well. They changed the location as well. They upgraded to a 7.6 earthquake. They upgraded to a 7.6 earthquake here. Before it was south of Bali, now it's north here. Let me change the location on the USGS map here. USGS still does not have this on the map here, but it's right in this region right here. Still on the edge of the plate, though. Still right smack dab on the edge of the plate. Okay? A 7.6 earthquake just happened. Right there. 7.6 earthquake just happened. They upgraded to it from a 7.5. 7.6 earthquake. Now, guys, I also just saw an earthquake that I didn't find out about until just now. So, guys, just bear with me again. West of the southern part of New Zealand. West of the southern island of New Zealand also here. USGS not even showing this for whatever reason. Right here. Right here we had a 5.1 earthquake here. A 5.1 earthquake occurred at 6:06 p.m. Eastern Time today, just a few minutes ago. A large 5.1 earthquake west of the South Island of New Zealand out here in the Pacific Ocean. USGS also does not have this on the map. It just happened. Just happened within the last few minutes. 5.1 large earthquake here. Okay? Now, guys, I've opened up the National Tsunami Warning Center. They do not have this 7.6 earthquake as of yet. They're showing a 4.0 in Sacramento, California. Of course, that's not going to have a tsunami because it's not ocean. The ocean has nothing to do with the ocean around it. In the center of California, not going to cause a tsunami at all. I just checked the Data Boys Center also, and we have no listing for it on the Data Boys Center. We have no buoys listed here that may be responding to that earthquake, telling us we had an earthquake out there. Nothing showing here at all. That's wild. That's totally wild. Hurricane Heather says here in the chat, she's not doing that well still. She had shingles in her eye. She had shingles in her eye. She can't see very well right now. Thank you for being here, Heather. I appreciate it so much. We all appreciate you. God bless you, dear lady. Please take care of yourself. We love you very much. We love you very much. Carol ZTJ7 here. She says, hello, everybody. Guys, if you're here for the first time, please also subscribe to our channel. We give up-to-the-minute earthquakes as they happen, when they happen. We give you information what's happening, what you should expect to have happen. Again, we are seeing right now that's happened. We got notified about it. USGS and the government is not posting anything about it. Not on the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration websites, the Tsunami Warning Center, the National Data Boys Center, neither one is showing anything happening. Nothing. I just refreshed the screen of the National Data Boys Center. Nothing showing there. I'm going to go back here to the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center, see if they're going to show anything here. I'm going to refresh it here. They're still not showing anything on it. National Tsunami Warning Center. No Tsunami Warning Center at all right now. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. Let me do some checking here. Hold on again. No, nothing here. Nowhere in the internet does show. Okay, USGS finally has it here. I'm bringing it up here on the map here. It's so close to the island here. There's going to be injuries here. The majority of this, again, this is 7.6 earthquake. And also here, there's also, I just got told, there's a 6.2 strong earthquake aftershock. We have a 6.2 strong aftershock here as well. There's going to be injuries here. There's going to be damage here in Indonesia. Okay? There's going to be injuries and damage here in Indonesia. There are villages here, guys. There are people living here. Let's look closely here. Okay? There are villages here. They name villages here. Okay? Look at that. Looks like huge city here. Huge city. That is just barely south of this earthquake. Just barely south of this earthquake here. Okay? Now they've also, like I said, had a 6.2 aftershock. The USGS still does not have here. Let me go back to the National Data Voice Center and the Tsunami Warning Center, see if they have anything yet. Nothing here. National Tsunami Warning Center doesn't have anything. The Data Voice Center doesn't have anything either. That's unheard of. This is unheard of, guys. They just downgraded that from a 6.2 upgrade to a 6.3, downgrade to 6.1 earthquake. 6.1 earthquake aftershock is still a very strong earthquake. Okay, in the same area here. This is in the Florida Sea, by the way. Okay, in the Florida Sea here. USGS is also saying this is a 7.7 earthquake, not a 7.6 as my data has it that I've gotten from my device here. Now upgrade to a 7.7 earthquake. 7.7 earthquake here, major earthquake. Okay, this is the largest earthquake this year. This is the largest earthquake this year here. Okay, earlier, just about 4 weeks ago, we had a 7.5 earthquake, 7.2 and a 7.5 earthquake north of Caracas, Venezuela. Okay, in and north of Caracas, Venezuela. Today we have a 7.7 earthquake here. And we've already had 6.1 aftershock. Let me do some looking around here. Hold on a second. The Florida Sea region here, guys. The northern side of Indonesia here. I shouldn't say the northern side of Indonesia, but the north side of this island of the southern part of Indonesia. Okay, this is where it's at. Over here to the west, We have Java, Indonesia. Over here in the Florida Sea, we have a 7.7 earthquake. Right here. Literally, it's on the earthquake fault. The edge of the tectonic plate here. Edge of the tectonic plate here. Carol just gave herself EMA 1 membership, member to our EMA family here on YouTube. Thank you very much, Carol. We appreciate that. Guys, also while I'm here, before we get any more information here, if you want to also join here, go just down below this video here into our program description. And you're going to see where it says join. Join. There's a link there. You can click on that. You can enjoy the EMA membership for as little as $1.99 a month, $2.99 a month, $3.99 a month. I kept those low for a reason. A friend of mine that has a YouTube channel has her membership set as $50 a month. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to give everybody the opportunity to join our channel. So I kept the memberships low. $1.99 a month is an EMA 3, and EMA 2 is $2.99 a month, and EMA 1 is $3.99 a month. We appreciate that. Also, please subscribe to our channel. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe to our channel, guys. It will be very helpful to know when we come on the air. And also, click on that little notification bell. Right beside the subscription button, you're going to see notification bell, little bell. Click on that bell icon. When you click on that bell icon, there'll be a drop-down menu of 3 items come up. Click on the word ALL. That should get you notified when we come on the air. We greatly appreciate that as well. Come on the air between 4 and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Today it was just after 5 p.m. Okay? Already we had a major earthquake right there. And that just happened. They still do not have that 5.0. They still not have that 5.0 earthquake over west of New Zealand, west of the north-south island of New Zealand. 5.1 earthquake hit here just a little bit ago. Just a little bit ago, guys. And USGS still does not have that here. That's pretty insane. Pretty insane. Kenzo also joined EMA 1. Thank you, Kenzo. God bless you, brother. Appreciate you so much. Now, guys, this was upgraded from a 7.6, but a 7.6 earthquake releases massive amounts of energy capable of causing severe damage over large regions, triggering tsunamis, and heavily disrupting communities near the epicenter. This is just north of the island, just east of Java. Okay? Just north of the island, east of Java. This is going to cause injuries here. Most definitely it's going to cause injuries. It's going to collapse buildings. And I believe we're going to have a tsunami as well. Okay? The data doesn't show that, but I believe we're going to have a tsunami as well. Okay? The National Tsunami Warning Center doesn't have it up yet. I don't know why. That blows my mind. Okay, they just downgraded again to a 7.6 again. From 7.7 to a 7.6, they downgraded again. Okay? The Tsunami Buoy Center does not have anything here, and the National Tsunami Warning Center doesn't have anything either. Not a thing. That blows my mind. Usually, immediately after earthquake hits, the Tsunami Voice Center has information. Also, the National Tsunami Warning Center has information as well. They have nothing here. Not a thing. Man, that's unheard of. Carol's asking about about volcanoes later. Guys, we have a lot of volcanoes going up right now, all over the world. Literally all over the world, guys. Hold on a second. Let's talk about volcanoes going off right now. Okay? Let's talk about currently erupting volcanoes. We just had a 5.9 aftershock as well. Just had a 5.9 aftershock up here. USGS does not have the 6.1. They don't have the 5.9 either. That's really crazy. That's insane. Okay, that 5.9 has been upgraded to a 6.2 very strong earthquake. 5.9 just happened, was an aftershock, was upgraded to a 6.2 aftershock. So now we have two earthquakes there, two aftershocks. One's a 6.1, and the 5.9 just got upgraded to 6.2 aftershock. This was a very powerful earthquake, guys. This was a very powerful earthquake. It just got upgraded to 6.3 now. 6.3 earthquake. Yes, Hurricane Heather, we had a 7.6 earthquake hit just in southern Indonesia in the Florida Sea just north of one of the main islands there in the southern Indonesia area. 7.6 earthquake, now a 6.1 and a 6.2 aftershock. Okay, I just picked up the data from the Volcano Discovery website down in Indonesia. Okay, in Indonesia. We have Karangatang volcano that's erupting right now. Okay, the 6.2 was upgraded to 6.3, has now been downgraded again to 5.9. That 6.1 had been downgraded to a 5.9. They upgraded again to 6.1. Now this 6.3 was downgraded to 5.9 as well. Aftershocks. Aftershocks, guys. Karangatang volcano in Indonesia, okay, has been erupting. Dense white plumes rose 10 to 20 meters above the summit every day. 21 avalanche events have happened at Karangatang volcano as well. Halmahera, Indonesia, which is north of where we're at right now with this earthquake. Halmahera, Indonesia has had volcanic ash advisories as well. That's Mount Ibu in Halmahera, Indonesia. Leotobi volcano in the Flores Island of Indonesia has also been erupting. They warned of a volcanic ash plume rising to 8,000 meters high. 8,000 feet high. 2,400 meters, flight level 080. 8,000 foot high eruption at Leotobi volcano in the Flores Sea. Krakatoa. Krakatoa volcano, which is just west of Java, has also been erupting. Okay? The Volcanic Ash Advisory Center has warned of an ash plume rising 4,000 feet above the summit of the volcano, 1,200 meters, flight level 040. Merapi volcano in central Java has also been erupting. A daily eruption there. 2 pyroclastic flows were detected, one of which was observed descending the southwest flank of Merapi volcano over there in central Java. Single flows were also detected on the 11th and 12th of August, just 2 days ago. Alert levels at Merapi volcano are number 3 on a scale of 4. The public has been warned to stay 3 to 7 kilometers away from the volcano. Merapi volcano, guys. Similar volcano in Java as well. Okay? The Volcanic Ash Advisory Center has issued the following warning. Eruption today. Okay? The eruption today is daily almost. Ash plumes rising 3 to 1,000 meters above the summit. They've drifted to multiple directions. The alert level is at 3 out of 4. at Summer Volcano east of Java. Dukono volcano is also in Halmahera, Indonesia, which is basically north central Indonesia. Halmahera erupted up to 7,000 feet high, 2,100 meters high, flight level 070. The ash plume has risen and is moving at 10 kilometers in the northerly direction. That's Dukono volcano. Dukono volcano typically erupts every day in Indonesia up to 7,000 feet high. In Vanuatu, Aveyah volcano, AOBA volcano there, they've issued an eruption advisory there. They reported minor eruptive activity at Aveyah volcano there in Vanuatu. Persistent volcanic tremors and continuous volcanic activity has happened since July this year. Ongoing plume emissions from the different vents around the volcano. Those plumes contain volcanic gases, SO2, sulfur dioxide, and CO2, carbon dioxide. Steam as well as ash coming from that volcano. Vanuatu, Aveyah volcano, Vanuatu. Over in Hawaii, for example, we've had earthquakes in Hawaii, as you know. Over in Hawaii, Kilauea volcano. The Hawaiian Volcanic Observatory reported eruptions within the Kilauea's Kaliapele summit caldera, characterized by episodic fountaining, incandescence, in other words, lava, fresh lava, and intermittent spatter from the craters on the south margin of Halemaumau crater around Kilauea. A weak glow and intermittent incandescence, which means fresh lava flow, observed from the north vent, while the south vent appeared dark today. Great Sitka volcano in Alaska. The Alaska Volcano Observatory reported that lava continues to slowly erupt within the summit crater of Great Sitka volcano during the week of 6th July through 12th of July. Okay? Great Sitka in the Aleutian Island chain. Okay? They reported an eruption, but it was very slow eruption, with the eruption maintained in the summit crater of Great Sitka volcano in Alaska in the Aleutian Islands. Popocatépetl in southern Mexico, southeast of Mexico City. Okay? Popocatépetl has continued to erupt, accompanied by water vapor, volcanic gases, and ash daily. The daily eruptions amount from 35 to 74 eruptions per day. 6 minutes of tremors were recorded between 5 and 6 August. Emissions of water vapor and volcanic gases were visible from the crater each morning and drifted generally to the west-northwest area around the volcano there. The volcanoes erupting over in Guatemala, San Dieguito volcano, Fuego volcano there continues. San Dieguito volcano has continued to erupt, 14,000 foot eruption, 4,300 meters high. Flight level 140. Fuego volcano also in Guatemala. That continues to erupt, 18,000 foot eruption, 5,500 meters high, flight level 180. In Nicaragua, Tolica volcano. Tolica was identified in webcam and satellite images. The ash cloud there was up to 5,500 feet to 6,500 feet. The ash cloud was drifting southwest to west-southwest as far as 140 meters from the summit, 140 kilometers from the summit. Rincon de Vieja volcano in Costa Rica.
Rincon de la Vieja in Costa Rica was reported to have two energetic phreatic eruptions that were recorded by the seismic and infrasound system. The acoustic magnitudes from that volcano were 4.1 to 4.5 earthquakes, and those earthquakes and the eruption of that volcano produced a lahar. Cloud cover was obscuring the crater, so they didn't have any webcam or video showing the two white plumes, rich in water vapor, according to people on the ground. And gases, they say, were rising about 1 kilometer above the summit, about half mile above the summit. Ashfall was reported. A possible eruption was recorded on 12 August, 2 days ago, but was not confirmed. The alert level at that volcano in Costa Rica remains at 3 out of 4. Then at Poas volcano in Costa Rica as well. Poas, P-O-A-S volcano. Poas volcano remained active. Occasional eruptive events were restricted to the crater area. The volcanic alert level is second lowest on a 4-level scale. In Colombia, Pires volcano has erupted. Explosive activity continues. Pires volcano in Colombia erupted up to 17,000 feet high, flight level 75200 meters high, flight level 170. Eruption at Pires volcano in Colombia, 17,000 feet high, 5,200 meters high, flight level 170. In Ecuador, going south. Ecuador, 2 volcanoes in Ecuador, Reventador and Sangay volcanoes. Reventador volcano has been erupting up to a 15,000 foot eruption, 4,600 meters high, flight level 150. Down in southern Peru, Sabancaya volcano. Sabancaya volcano in southern Peru. On a daily basis, SO2 emissions, sulfur dioxide emissions, average 766 tons per day. 766 tons of SO2 gases, sulfur dioxide gases, escaping from Sabancaya volcano. Water vapor and gas and ash cloud rose as high as 1.7 kilometers above the summit. That was a very low level eruption. That's at the volcanoes that erupted today. Those are the volcanoes that erupted today, according to Volcano Discovery. Now, guys, you see some earthquakes on the map here. This earthquake is a 6.1 aftershock here. Right here, this is the 5.6 aftershock. And right over further here to the west is a 5.9. 5.9 earthquake here. I'm going to go back here to the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center. U.S. Tsunami Warning Center doesn't have anything listed for a possible tsunami here in Indonesia. Guys, I think that is very possible. This was a 7.4 major earthquake. This was a 7.4 major earthquake here. Actually, now it's a 7.7. They've upgraded to a 7.7 major earthquake. Okay. Heidi Patrick, we really appreciate you being here. Arnold here is one of our moderators, a very good close friend of mine. I love him as a brother. He's a great man. He's here moderating our channel as well. We appreciate him being here. Thank you, Arnold. I find it hard to believe that the Tsunami Warning Center has nothing in it about this earthquake yet. I've refreshed the screen I don't know how many times now, and nothing here at all. The National Database Center doesn't have anything either. They have nothing. Man, that blows my mind. Well, I've got you guys here. I'm going to do something here. Hold on a second. This is National Database Center, guys. This is National Database Center here. Okay? Right here. Okay? Right here. We've got Tropical Storm Laura. Okay? Tropical Storm Laura, they have the cone of mystery here. Okay? This is where Tropical Storm Laura is going to travel here. Okay? Just south of the islands here, just south of the Big Island, then it's going to continue its travel south of the Hawaiian Islands out into the Western Pacific Ocean. Tropical Storm Laura. L-A-R-A. Okay? Actually, not Laura. L-A-L-A. Lala. Tropical Storm Lala. Okay? Right here. Okay, this is Tropical Storm Herman. Way out here in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. I don't think it's going to be able to do anything. I heard a report on it earlier today. It may come here south of the Hawaiian Islands and it may not. It may peter out here in the Pacific Ocean. We'll see what happens. Okay? That's what is happening right now with those. Well, let's scroll down here and go back here to Indonesia here. We finally do have a tsunami warning buoy here. Okay? We have a tsunami warning buoy here, guys. That's possibly a good thing here. That's possibly a good thing here. Okay. According to this warning buoy here, out into Indonesia here, there's a warning buoy going off here. We don't have necessarily a huge water column height indication here. It's buoy station 52002. 52002 right now. It's going off now. We still do not have anything indicating a tsunami at all here in the Western Pacific Ocean here, down here in the Sunda Strait, down here in the Florida Sea at all. Nothing at all. That blows my mind. Let me put up the information here for the tsunami.gov here. There is a warning buoy going off right now. Okay. You're seeing it as I am seeing it right here. The U.S. Tsunami Warning Center has not put up anything at all about this earthquake. They don't have anything listed here as to a possible tsunami right now in Indonesia. Not a thing. That blows my mind. Okay. We have a major 7.7 earthquake here in Indonesia. And U.S. agencies have dropped the ball. It appears the U.S. agencies have dropped the ball here. That's insanity. That's utter insanity, guys. Anyway, let's get on with our program here. I'm glad we got that information out about this earthquake. But again, the agencies dropped the ball. Completely and outright dropped the ball here. If they by chance pick it up, I'll show you that information when it becomes available now. Okay, let's continue on here. Okay, what I want to talk to you about now is a big earthquake. I want to talk to you about a big earthquake, guys. And this earthquake is going to happen. We don't know when. We have no date, no time it's going to happen, but we do know it's going to happen. We've talked about this in the past, a lot about this. It's called the Cascadia earthquake. It's going to happen up in the Pacific Northwest. We're also going to have that earthquake on the San Andreas Fault. Major earthquake on the San Andreas Fault, even as much as an 8.0 earthquake on the San Andreas Fault, southern San Andreas Fault, and possibly also in the San Francisco Bay Area. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, guys. Promise you. Promise you it's going to happen. Now, yes, just southeast of Los Angeles is where the San Andreas Fault comes and is going to hit. Southeast of Los Angeles. Okay? Now, I want to ask a question. Why can help not reach these cities when they need it most? Why can help not reach these cities when they need it most? What's going to happen? What really happens when this earthquake hits? In the first 72 hours after the great earthquake, not just in terms of rescue and recovery victims, what else are we going to see happening to all of us? Number one, chaos. Chaos is going to happen. Two, besides the destruction and chaos from the initial quakes, we're going to have aftershocks, aren't we? We're going to have aftershocks. Buildings collapsing. Buildings and homes collapsing around us. Roadways become impassable. We're going to have supply chain disruptions. Finances of everyday people are going to be disrupted or completely no longer in existence. Finances of everyday people will be disrupted and or completely non-existent. Why? Because the banks are going to close, not reopen. Because the bank vaults are operated electronically. They're not going to be on a backup system. I don't know any bank or credit union that has a backup system for their banks or credit unions. Nobody does. Nobody has backup generators for the banks or credit unions. Supply chain disruption, finance disruption all over California. Infrastructure is also going to be disrupted. Okay? Why? City councils, mayors, even the governor's office. Nobody's going to hear from for days, if not months. Why? Because, guys, the television and radio stations and their antennas are going to be damaged or completely destroyed. The radio stations themselves, their antennas and supply systems up for the radios and TV stations up on the top of mountains are going to be destroyed by the earthquake as well. Infrastructure is going to collapse. The very lifelines that keep these cities alive is the same reason the rescue cannot get through. Fire, police, medical personnel are not going to be able to respond. Every year that passes without rupture is not a new year of safety. Every year that passes without an earthquake, major earthquake, is not a year without a rupture and a year without safety. It's just another year of energy piling up. Another turn of the spring. Literally another turn of the spring, making the eventual release of energy from the earthquake only larger and even more violent when it finally comes. We need to be aware of this. A city sitting miles from the fault itself could be hammered mercilessly. Skyscrapers swaying. The most studied scenario describes a rupture that begins near the Salton Sea in the southern area of the Imperial County. In the southern area of the Imperial County. Let me show you that, guys. Let me show you that. I thought I had it already keyed up. It's right here. El Centro, California. El Centro, California is just south of the Salton Sea. It's a major city of about 50,000 people now. It used to be about 10,000 30 years ago. Now the city's about 50,000 people. El Centro, California. Okay? This city is the most studied city of all. And the scientists have said that the rupture of the San Andreas Fault is going to begin near the Salton Sea, south in the Imperial County of Southern California. Then tears northward over a wide expanse of the compass for more than 200 miles in any direction. 200 miles in any direction. North of Los Angeles, south into Mexico, east out into Arizona, literally out in Arizona, guys, Phoenix and Tucson area, and also west into San Diego. Okay? Just like we saw in April 2010, when the province of Guadalupe, Victoria, east of Mexicali, erupted and ripped open with a magnitude 7.2 earthquake, unzipping in about 2 minutes' time. 2 minutes' time of unimaginable violence. 2-minute earthquake down there, south of the border in Guadalupe, Victoria, was evidenced all over the Imperial Valley, even here in El Centro. The shaking then lasted for over 2 minutes. Okay? The shaking of the San Andreas Fault, going to be a 7.5, 8.5 earthquake. It's going to last far longer than the brief jolts most people even think about. That's going to be felt in the worst areas ever hit. The ground is going to heave. It's going to roll for a full minute or more, long enough for buildings that survived the first shock to finally give up and collapse. The destruction near that fault line is not just going to be near the fault. The destruction is not going to stay anywhere near the fault. The energy is literally going to radiate outward, funneling through soft sedimentary rock, soft sedimentary basins, dirt, gravel, and sand, the cradle of California, Arizona, and other big cities. These basins, guys, are where cities are, and those cities are going to act like a bowl of jelly during the earthquake. They're going to shake like a bowl of jelly. These cities I'm talking about right now, all the cities around Los Angeles, east and north and south, San Diego, all the cities and towns in the Imperial Valley are going to rock like bowls of jelly. These cities have been sitting on hundreds of years of sand and sediment, trapping and amplifying the seismic waves. All these sedimentary areas are going to trap and amplify the seismic waves, shaking the buildings from the top down. Shaking the buildings from the top down. Okay? The buildings on top of them are going to hit farther down and collapse. Okay? They're going to shake from the top down, and the bottom of buildings are going to literally collapse, which is going to cause the buildings to pancake. Okay? This bedrock here is going to shake so bad, it's going to cause these buildings to pancake, even here in El Centro. So a city sitting miles from the fault line. Let's look at that as well. Let's sit even at Palmdale, California. Let's talk about Palmdale, California here. Okay, this city also sits near the fault line. Okay, the skyscrapers and homes also going to sway. Older buildings are going to crumble. Older buildings because they were not built during the time when we now have building laws that specifically say the buildings have to have reinforced sediment, reinforced rock, and reinforced concrete with steel even. These buildings were built before 1970 are going to fall and collapse. Even buildings built before 1990 are going to fall and collapse. The building codes are such right now, the buildings that were built before 1990 even are going to fall and collapse. The southern San Andreas Fault is likewise, just like the New Madrid Fault and the Cascade Subduction Zone, these earthquakes faults have produced major earthquakes on the average every century or two recorded through our history. Every century through recorded history. The New Madrid, the Cascadia, the San Andreas Fault have reproduced earthquakes of great magnitudes, These earthquakes have occurred at least 1 or 2 times over 2 centuries. Last one in each case struck roughly 200 or 300 years ago. In other words, by the fault's own long established rhythm. The region is not just due for a great earthquake. It is well past due. The region is well past due. Like I said, every year that passes without a rupture is not a year of safety. It's just another year of energy piling up. Another turn of the spring, making the eventual release only larger and more violent when it finally comes. These faults most certainly will unleash something so big that those of you who think this is just a distant hypothetical thought, or even a disaster movie fantasy, you're going to be totally blown away by what happens. Okay? It's going to happen. It's not just hypothetical. It's not a disaster movie release, not a fantasy. It's going to be reality. It is near certainty that the California state-owned geology guarantees. And we cannot say precisely which day it will arrive. It could be decades away, according to scientists, but it could happen tomorrow. And when it comes, the cities that we've been talking about, that we've described, will be totally destroyed. And life will forever be changed. We are all going to have front row seats to the most powerful natural disaster these people in these regions have ever faced. Palm Springs. Let's take a look at Palm Springs here. Right here. Good old Palm Springs, guys. The city of love. The city of retirement. Guess what, guys? Palm Springs and the surrounding Coachella Valley sit in one of the most beautiful and yet one of the most dangerous locations in all of California, because the San Andreas Fault runs directly along the edge of the valley, skirting the base of the mountains to give the region its dramatic backdrop. Huge. This is precisely where scientists believe the next great eruption is most likely to begin. The southernmost section of the fault, the part of the fault that's been silent for 3 centuries, passes right through this region. And when it goes, the communities of the Coachella Valley will be among the first to feel it. They'll feel it in great force, full force, right at the source before the energy has a chance to weaken as the energy travels. The problem for Palm Springs and its neighbors is not just the shaking. It is the location, actual isolation, the distance. The distance from Palm Springs, from there to the nearest source of assistance and infrastructure. The same thing is true for the Imperial Valley in Southern California, such as El Centro, as I've described. The major cities in and around California, the problem is not just the isolation, but the damage that earthquakes are going to do. Isolating the suburbs and outlying cities and towns. The highways and service streets are going to suffer major damage and isolate public services from the people that need them most in those areas. Bridges and overpasses are going to pancake. The Palm Springs Valley is going to find itself sealed off, as well as Palmdale, a bowl of destruction without the routes in and out choked with rubble. The bowl of destruction with the routes in and out of the bowl completely choked with rubble. Major cities such as San Diego. San Diego, guys, what do you guys think about San Diego? San Diego is also going to be impacted in a big way. In a great big way, guys. I promise you. San Diego's also going to feel it. San Diego's also going to feel it. Major cities such as San Diego, Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim will suffer greatly as this infrastructure is destroyed. Highways and overpasses are going to collapse. Buildings are going to sway, and if not go down, they're going to pancake as well. Infrastructure is going to be destroyed. And the time it's going to take to rebuild is almost going to be insurmountable. Fire, medical, and police services will not be available as we know them now. You and I will be alone as our own first responders. Each one of us are going to be alone as our own first responders. Think about that for a minute. Think about that one for a minute, guys. Each of us is going to be alone ourselves. We're going to be alone by ourselves. We're going to need to handle ourselves. We're going to handle our issues that we have from the very beginning to the end. We're going to have to handle our issues we have after the earthquake until such time as the infrastructure is repaired or even available to the average citizen and residents of these communities. Then there's the water issue. Water. Each one of us needs to drink water. Miles and possibly even hundreds of miles for fresh water supplies. Why? Treatment plants will be disabled and cut off from the communities. Every one of these cities, small and large in California, and even along the New Madrid Fault, even though it's in the center part of the United States, it's also basically in the desert area, the central part of the U.S. Sever these lifelines, sever the water, sever the gas lines, sever supply lines. And all of a sudden you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in a scorching desert. A scorching desert, guys, with no reliable water supply. None. No power for air conditioning. No easy way for help to reach them. The combination of this is not just uncomfortable, it's deadly. If the shaking and collapsed building and homes don't take you out of lack of water, sanitation, lack of food for the majority of the people is going to be the greatest hardship. Lack of water, sanitation, and lack of food for the majority of the people is going to be the greatest hardship. In the brutal desert heat, that combination is not just going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be deadly. On top of that, how can the people protect themselves and their families from the elements? I showed you pictures of the Palm Springs area. Let me go back to that. Palm Springs, guys. Palm Springs may be the glittering playground of the desert, retirement community. But when the San Andreas Fault begins its rupture, what's going to happen? Palm Springs is going to become one of the first places where survivors are going to be left completely and entirely on their own. It's interesting to me, just moments ago we had 45 people watch this program. Now the people watching this program has dropped down to 36 people. That's insane. I'm talking about one of the biggest earthquakes that's going to hit the United States of America, over on the west coast of the United States and also over in the central part of the U.S. with the New Madrid Fault. It's also going to rupture, guys. It hasn't ruptured for 200, 300 years. It's going to rupture again, just like the San Andreas is going to do. But here in Palm Springs, there's going to be an even harsher version of the same nightmare. Harsher version of the same nightmare. Let's look at Indio, California. Let's look at Indio, California. This is a sprawling oasis in the middle of the Mojave Desert. Indio, and the eastern Coachella Valley. These places are home to large working communities, sprawling agricultural operations, and a population that swells enormously during festival seasons. The Coachella Festival is one of them, when hundreds of thousands of visitors pour into the area from some of the largest outdoor events in the country. Imagine the San Andreas Fault hitting there at the worst time period, when all these thousands upon tens of thousands of visitors descend on Indio, Palm Springs, and Palmdale, and all of a sudden the earthquake hits. The fault ruptures during one of these major gatherings, one of these massive gatherings, when the desert is packed with people who do not live there, who do not know the area, and who have meager or no supplies or no shelter as well, and no idea where they're going to go. The roads that brought them there are going to be destroyed, impassable. The temporary infrastructure in Indio, Palm Springs, and Palmdale are going to be collapsed, non-existent. The same isolation that threatens Palm Springs would have trapped this crowd in the desert with almost no way out. Even on an ordinary day, the Eastern Valley is uniquely exposed. Many of these communities were built quickly and cheaply, and older structures are in particular vulnerable to the kind of prolonged shaking the Great San Andreas earthquake is going to deliver. Emergency services in these areas are going to be stretched very thin, even during normal times. After the big one, the 7.5, 8.5 earthquake, with roads gone, communications down, the region's going to wait for days for very meaningful outside help to arrive, possibly even weeks. This is a desert area of California where summer temperatures routinely climb past 115 degrees to 125 degrees on a normal day. 115 degrees without power, without water. Tell me that's not a hardship. It's a death sentence to the most vulnerable people, especially those retirees that live in that valley, or the people that are visiting there, retirees that are visiting with health issues. Indio and its neighbors represent the great quiet tragedy of the San Andreas Fault. Indio, the places here, the people there are going to suffer terribly, and yet they are rarely part of the conversation in reality. The people who visit these areas for any festival or any other time period, the people who live there, the people who visit there are not rarely part of the conversation. Let's talk about San Bernardino. San Bernardino on a good day. San Bernardino on a good day, guys. And the Cajon Pass. The lovely Cajon Pass. How about that? Has anybody driven down the Cajon Pass, guys? Has anybody driven down the Cajon Pass? Interstate 15, 4 lanes in traffic going north and south through the Cajon Pass. Unreal. As we drive through the Cajon Pass area, it's going to be a choke point. Why do you think it's called a choke point, guys? Why do you think they call it a choke point? Because nobody's going to be able to go through there. The San Andreas Fault runs right beneath the Cajon Pass. But it's not just a single critical mountain pass that holds the fate of all of Southern California in its grip. The San Bernardino area sits at the foot of towering mountains in the region, where the San Andreas Fault carves a dramatic path through the landscape. Just to the north lies the Cajon Pass, one of the most important, most terrifying, vulnerable pieces of geography in the entire western United States. Why is that? The Cajon Pass is a narrow mountain gap, runs a staggering concentration of lifelines. Major interstate highway, Interstate 15, with critical railway lines also going through the area. Critical railway lines also going through the area. Here you see Union Pacific train pulling through up the Cajon Pass here, going northbound. Major intense interstate highway. I'm saying intense because I've seen both bumper-to-bumper traffic on the highway. Critical rail lines run through this area, giving supplies to Southern California from the rest of the country. And also supplies coming from the Port of Los Angeles and also Long Beach Harbor, carrying those goods to other areas of the country. That's going to come to a screeching halt as well. Okay? Aqueducts carrying water. Think about that. Aqueducts carrying water also going to be affected, such as this here. Water coming from the Colorado River is going to be cut off. The aqueducts probably will collapse when this earthquake hits, cutting off the water supply to most of Southern California. Water supply is critical for Southern California, guys. Critical. Aqueducts carrying water, natural gas pipelines, electrical transmission lines, almost everything that flows through Southern California and the rest of the nation squeezes through the Cajon Pass. And the San Andreas Fault runs directly across it. When the fault snaps, the ground in the Cajon Pass is going to shift by many feet. The ground beneath the Cajon Pass is going to shift by many feet, shearing completely through not just one of these lifelines, but all of them simultaneously. The highway itself will be split and buckled. The rail lines will be torn apart. The pipelines carrying fuel and gas are going to rupture and ignite. The aqueduct carrying vital water across most of Southern California is going to crack and drain. In one violent moment, and many other violent moments after that, after the aftershocks hit, the main artery connecting Southern California to the outside world is going to be severed. Supplies, fuel, and aid that would normally flow over these routes would simply stop. Simply stop, guys. For San Bernardino itself, right next to the Cajon Pass, sitting right in this danger zone, right smack dab in the danger zone. San Bernardino is going to shake ferociously. But the deeper catastrophe is what the severed pass would mean for millions of people downstream, both across the nation and throughout the Southern California area. This region imports the majority of its water from hundreds of miles away. And much of this water travels through corridors like this. Cut the pass, you have not just one damaged city. You have begun to strangle an entire metropolis. San Bernardino is just a choke point, the place where the lifelines of civilization come together in one spot, where Earth is most likely to tear them apart. Palmdale, like I showed you a minute ago, Palmdale, guys, is going to collapse. Palmdale is going to collapse as well. And the fault that runs right through town to the high desert north of Los Angeles, you're going to find a city built almost entirely on top of the beast. In the Palmdale area, the San Andreas Fault is not just some distant line in the wilderness. It runs right through the region, so close and so visible that geologists use the dramatic rock formations to study the fault directly. The same mountains in this region are where geologists use to study the dramatic rock formations in that area to ascertain what the fault is going to do. You can stand in places where the very ground has been twisted, folded, and lifted by millions of years of relentless movement. Millions of years of relentless movement. Living this close to the fault means that when it ruptures, there's no buffer. There's no distance. There's no mercy. The ground displacement that suddenly lurches sideways by many, many feet could pass directly through developed areas, houses and businesses, skyscrapers, anything built across the fault line, roads, pipelines, buildings ripped apart as two sides of the earth slide past each other like this. This is the most direct form of earthquake destruction. And few populated areas in California are ever exposed to this. Very few populated areas are exposed to this. The last time anything dramatic like this happened was the Northridge earthquake, and it was only a 6.9 earthquake, 1994. Palmdale here, guys, carries an additional hidden danger. That makes it especially critical. This area of Palmdale is a critical junction to the very aqueduct system that carries water south to the enormous population of San Diego and the Los Angeles basin. Now, what's going on in Southern California right now? We have a drought throughout the entire country. Southern California is under water shortage right now. Water coming out of the Colorado River is being cut off. The dams and reservoirs have gone almost dry. Almost dry. So San Diego and Los Angeles are nearly being cut off. They're under water rationing right now. Some of the most important water infrastructure in the state crosses the fault at or near this very region. When the faults move, these aqueducts, which cannot bend or flex, not enough to survive a sudden 30-foot shift. It's a 30-foot shift, guys. A 30-foot shift here. Imagine that. A 30-foot shift would sever these aqueducts totally in one single moment. A major share of the water supply for millions of people to the south will be cut off potentially for months or even longer, because repairing an aqueduct that's been torn apart by fault movement in a very rugged area is slow and a grueling process. So Palmdale here faces a double blow. It sits directly on the rupture, guaranteeing severe local destruction, and it holds the water lifelines whose failure will be the massacre of the cities to the south. Palmdale is just a small city with an outsized role in the coming catastrophe. An outside role in the coming catastrophe. When help is needed the most, this region will likely be too broken to provide it and too damaged to receive it. Think about that one for a minute. Think about that one for a minute. Let's look at Los Angeles now. Los Angeles and Santa Barbara. Even San Diego, like I showed you. Los Angeles and the seasoned towns not to be left out. Santa Barbara, that are around, cannot be reached because the highways and service streets have been damaged or completely cut off. Now we arrive at the giant, Los Angeles. LA itself is one of the most urban areas of the planet, home to millions and millions of people spread out across a vast base of freeways, neighborhoods, and towering downtown skyscrapers. When the San Andreas Fault does not run through the heart of the city, this very fact offers far less protection than you might hope. Just because the San Andreas Fault is off to the southeast, the terrifying reality of Los Angeles. We have talked about this before. LA City sits in a deep sedimentary basin, a giant bowl of soft soil. As I said yesterday and the day before that, Los Angeles also has an oil and gas pumping operation just northeast of downtown LA, Baldwin Hills. The Baldwin Hills oil and gas production area has been online since about 1940, pumping oil and gas out of the ground. In the San Fernando area alone, that area of gas and oil underneath the San Fernando Valley has been pumped up. Now the San Fernando Valley is shifting downward. Foundations and basins are cracking and falling to pieces. Falling to pieces, guys, because there is deviation from the regular, what's normally been happening. Oil and gas deposits beneath the city have collapsed, and the city is settling down. Settling down, guys. The giant bowl of jello is settling down, and when the earthquake hits, it's going to shake like a bowl of jello. When the seismic waves from the great LA San Andreas earthquake rupture come in from the north and the east, that basin will catch them, trap them, and amplify those waves, the seismic waves. The shaking in Los Angeles could be far stronger than that from the distant areas. Could be far stronger than that from far away. Tall buildings are going to sway violently for a minute or two, maybe longer. Many of those buildings will collapse. Older concrete structures, and the region that has many of them, are going to collapse because they were constructed prior to the seismic studies and prior to reinforcement was accomplished. Captain Sigurdsson is asking, can helicopters work in dust? Maybe in some places, but when it's too thick to land, or the pilots of the helicopters can't even see the ground, they're not going to be able to get in there. Okay? Freeway overpasses are going to collapse as well. They're going to give way. We saw that happen during the Northridge earthquake. When a police officer motorcycle unit was driving down the highway, the bridge collapsed and he drove right smack dab into the abutment of the bridge and killed himself. He couldn't stop. 65 miles per hour on a motorbike is going to kill you, directly kill you. It did. Other people injured or killed as well. What's going to happen in the aftermath of isolation? Remember all those severed lifelines? The railroad, the aqueduct, the highways, everything? That aqueduct crossing the fault at Palmdale and elsewhere is going to completely come down, cut off. The interstate lifelines passing through the Cajon Pass are going to be cut. Interstate 15 is going to be cut off completely. Cut off completely, guys. The natural gas and fuel lines feeding the region are going to rupture. They're going to be terribly ruptured. Los Angeles imports an overwhelming majority of its water from far, far away, and nearly every one of those water routes crosses the San Andreas Fault. In this scenario, the scientists have modeled this region could lose most of its imported water in just about an instant. An instant. Local water supplies would not last long against the needs of millions of people. Now let's add something else to the mix. Add fire to the mix. When the shaking ruptures, thousands of gas lines across the entire LA basin, including Santa Barbara, San Diego, surrounding cities and towns, the fires are going to ignite. The pipelines are going to break. Underground pipelines are going to break. Fires are going to ignite everywhere. When the water mains have been shattered by the same earthquake, fire hydrants are going to run dry. We've talked about this happening with the New Madrid fault. Here's going to be the same way. Firefighters are going to face an impossible situation here. The city burning literally in countless places at once with very little water to fight it. In past great earthquakes, it was not just fire, not just the shaking itself that caused most devastation. Santa Barbara, San Diego, and Los Angeles are uniquely primed for exactly that same nightmare. Help from outside is going to struggle to arrive because the roadways are leading into the region are going to be destroyed or jammed. The airports are going to be damaged or destroyed. Even Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, San Diego Lindbergh Field, Santa Barbara, the surrounding cities and towns around there, those airports are going to be damaged or destroyed. The ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles are going to be crippled. A city of millions could be left without for days, even months, without water, and the water's going to run out. The fires are going to spread. Los Angeles itself will not vanish into the sea, but large parts of LA, Santa Barbara, San Diego, and other cities, including out in the Imperial Valley, are going to be in a place which is unreachable, unlivable, and unrescuable. In a very crucial window when survival matters. When survival matters. Not only that, but all those supplies coming into the ports will be stalled or even destroyed itself. Those ships cannot just sit out in the port and sit there or sit out at sea. Some of those supplies that those ships could have given to the city of Los Angeles through either the Port of LA or the Port of Long Beach will rot in the ships. They're going to rot in the ships. Many of these imports were destined to be shipped to other parts of the U.S. Now they sit in cargo ships at dock or out at sea, unable to get to the port because of large and major earthquakes hitting the region. Now let's take it a little bit north, over into just south of San Francisco. Just south of San Francisco. Now we're looking at Daly City. Daly City, guys. Edge of the San Francisco Peninsula. Now we travel hundreds of miles north to Daly City. This city has the dubious honor of being one of the places where the San Andreas Fault is most intimate with human habitation. Daly City is perched on the coastal areas just south of San Francisco. It sits so close to the fault that in some spots, the boundary between the two great plates of Earth, the Pacific Plate and the San Andreas Fault, and also the North American Plate, are right there. The two great plates, North American Plate and the San Andreas and the Pacific Plate, run almost through the neighborhoods themselves of Daly City. The San Andreas Fault comes ashore in this region, Daly City. It slices right along the edge of the peninsula, and this is the northern segment of the San Andreas Fault. The northern segment of the San Andreas Fault. The same section that produced the catastrophic San Francisco earthquake. The same earthquake section of the San Andreas Fault that destroyed much of San Francisco more than a century ago. That historic quake, guys, one of the most famous in American history, was caused by a rupture along this very same stretch of fault. The energy released reshaped the region. It leveled a great city. The fault has been quietly reloading ever since then. For Daly City and the communities strung along this part of the coast, the danger is going to be its proximity in its purest form. The proximity of the San Andreas Fault in its purest form. Being this close to the fault means experiencing the maximum intensive ground shaking, to maximum intensity of ground shaking, ground motion, and the direct threat of surface rupture. The direct threat of surface rupture, guys. Homes and roads built across, on, or near the fault are going to face the full force of the earth tearing it apart sideways. The peninsula geography creates its own trap. The peninsula alone is going to be its own trap. The peninsula is a narrow strip of land, densely developed, connected to the surrounding region by highways and bridges that are going to be severely tested by the major earthquake. Landslides along the coastal bluffs, we've seen that happen before. Landslides across the coastal bluffs, which are already prone to erosion, are going to take out roads and homes alike. Just like we saw in the past few years along the coastline of Los Angeles, the coastline of San Diego as well. When the northern San Andreas Fault finally releases its stored energy again, those communities clinging to this beautiful, treacherous edge of California are going to be among the first and hardest hit, with the ocean on one side and a torn San Andreas Fault on the other. San Francisco and the ghost of a great disaster. And so we come to the top of our list, to a city whose very history is written in the language of earthquakes, San Francisco. San Francisco is one of the most iconic cities in the world. A place of steep hills, gleaming skyscrapers, gleaming towers, hotels, one of the most famous bridges on earth, Oakland Bay Bridge and the San Francisco Bay Bridge. Fancy that. It's also a city that's been destroyed once by the San Andreas Fault. And everything that's been destroyed once by the San Andreas Fault has experience. And this suggests that San Francisco remains dangerously exposed to repeat performance with the San Andreas Fault. The great earthquake that struck here in this region long ago did not just topple buildings. The shaking ruptured gas lines, and the fires burned for days. The fires that followed the ruptured gas lines burned for days, consuming large swaths of the city while the firefighters had to stand by helplessly. The firefighters stood by helplessly. They had no choice. Their water mains were destroyed, shattered literally. The water mains were shattered completely, totally and completely gone. Totally and completely gone. The fire department's hydrants were dry. It was one of the most deadliest earthquakes, one of the most destructive disasters the nation has ever seen. And it happened because of a rupture on the very same fault system that still runs by just right past the western side of San Francisco Bay today. The same fault system runs by on the west side of San Francisco Bay today. And as a result, San Francisco is also going to suffer what's going to happen there. It's going to rupture, and rupture bad. The fault here has been silent for over a century. And all the while, the pressure's been building again, over again and again. Water in San Francisco is far larger, far taller, far more crowded than the city that burned before. Much of its most valuable real estate sits on filled land. The very airport, San Francisco Airport, sits on landfill. Ground that was created by dumping earth and rubble in what now used to be the bay. This artificial ground behaves horrifically during earthquakes, when the earth is shaking violently. Saturated loose soil can lose its strength entirely and behave like liquefaction, a phenomenon that causes buildings to sink, buildings to tilt, buildings to topple. That's not just buildings with businesses, but homes as well, highways as well. The very neighborhoods that suffered the worst in the historic quake, the ones built on the solid ground, are going to suffer more likely worse again. And San Francisco faces the same brutal isolation as the rest. It is a city on the tip of a peninsula, dependent on bridges, and a small number of routes connected to the wider region. Its water travels from distant mountains through pipelines across the fault. When the northern San Andreas releases its energy that it's been hoarding for more than 100 years, San Francisco could face shattered water systems, widespread fires with no water to fight them, collapsed structures on liquefied ground, and severed connections to the outside world. San Francisco is a city that history warns us about most clearly. The place that had already shown exactly how this story ends. And yet millions live there today, going about their lives above a fault that is so overdue with every passing year. And when help is needed the most, a broken and burning San Francisco may result. That help cannot cross the water, cannot cross the fault line, and help cannot arrive in time. The first 72 hours is critical here. It's critical to truly understand why these cities are so vulnerable. We have to imagine the timeline of the disaster as it actually unfolds minute by minute, hour by hour. Because the story of a great earthquake is not just a moment of shaking. It is when everything starts coming afterwards, when everything starts coming apart. In the long, dark hours, the survivors are waiting, and help is not coming. In the first 60 seconds, the ground does its violence. And for moments after that, buildings that were going to fall fast, overpasses that are going to buckle, pipelines are going to snap, water and gas is going to escape, water and gas is going to stop flowing. And then the first fires flickered alive. When the shaking finally stops, an eerie quiet settles over the landscape, broken only by car alarms, breaking glass, and the distant wail of the first sirens. And in that quiet moment, the survivors of the quake begin to realize the true scale of what has happened. The power is out. The lights are dark across all the regions of the area. The cell towers are overwhelmed. They lose power. They start running on backup batteries. And after hours on end, the cell towers also go down. They become damaged and stop working. Suddenly, people cannot reach their loved ones. You can't call for help. Cannot even find out what has happened beyond your own street. In the first hour, emergency response begins, but it collides immediately with the reality that there are severed lifelines. Fire trucks race toward burned buildings, only to find the roads were blocked by rubble and the hydrants are dry. Ambulances cannot reach the injured because the freeways are broken. The surface streets are gridlocked and broken as well. And panic fleeing people occupy the roadways and sidewalks and anywhere where the cars aren't going. Hospitals, many of them damaged by the shaking themselves, are flooded with casualties. Casualties they can't possibly treat all at once. And the professionals who make up the emergency response, the firefighters, the paramedics, the police, are stretched so impossibly thin because of a disaster of this scale does not create just one emergency. It creates tens of thousands of emergencies all at the same time, all at the same moment, across a region the size of a small country. Across a region the size of a small country. By the end of the first day, the outside world is desperate for help. Rescue teams from other states begin to mobilize. Supplies are gathered. But then comes a cruel bottleneck. How do you get in? The airports may have cracked runways. The ports have been having damaged docks. I can't even imagine what happens in San Francisco. Pier 24, Pier 49, damaged beyond belief. The highways, the one that cross the faults, are severed at the crossing points. Every route into the disaster zone has been compromised by the same event that created the need for rescue. So aid becomes a pile up at the outside, on the edges of the catastrophe. All the help, all the aid that's out there, ends up at the edge of the catastrophe, close but unable to reach the people that need it most. This is the very moment, guys, that survivors have been warned about. The gap between the disaster and the arrival of meaningful help. It is a gap that can truly stretch for not just hours, but for days, weeks, even months. In the second, third month, the situation grows more desperate for those still trapped in the hardest hit zones without running water. Thirst becomes a genuine threat, especially in the scorching desert of the cities to the south. Without power, without refrigeration, it fails. Food spoils. Without communication, rumors spread and fear grows. Aftershocks, some of them powerful earthquakes in their own right, continue to rattle the already weakened buildings, bringing down more structures that survived the first blow, and terrifying a population already pushed past its limit. This is the true meaning of the phrase, before help arrives. It is not a subtraction. It's not an addition. It is 72 hours or more of survivors relying on nothing but what they have, what their neighbors might have, and what their own will to endure has. The long shadow remains. And even when help finally does arrive, the story is far from over. Far from over. A great earthquake on the San Andreas Fault would not just be a single bad day. A single bad day that the recovery region recovers from. Not in a week, not in a month, possibly not even years. This disaster in this region would cast a shadow that stretches not for weeks, months, or years, but for a very long time, reshaping the lives of everyone who's touched by it. Everyone who's touched by this earthquake. It's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. Consider the water. When the aqueducts across the fault are torn apart, the aqueducts cannot simply be patched overnight, not glued back together. Repairing major water infrastructure that's been severed by earthquake fault movement, often in remote and rugged terrain, is a monumental engineering task that could take many months. During all this time, cities of millions and thousands of people are going to survive on emergency supplies. Cities of millions and thousands of people are going to survive on emergency supplies and whatever local reserves they can muster. Ration every drop, unable to return anything resembling normal life. A modern city cannot function without water. The prospect of a great metropolis limping along for months on a fraction of normal supply is one of the most sobering aspects of this entire scenario. I've studied this for years. I've been part of this study for years, guys. I'm very well aware of what's going to happen. Then there's the economy. You can't just think about this, guys. It's far beyond that. There's an economy. All these cities and the regions around them represent an enormous share of the largest economies on the planet. When these economies in these areas are crippled, the damage does not stay local. Ports that handle a vast portion of the nation's imported goods could be knocked offline. The ports themselves could be knocked offline, disrupting supply chains across the entire U.S. and beyond. Businesses would be destroyed, jobs lost. The cost of rebuilding would climb into figures so large that it's difficult to comprehend what's going to happen. The financial aftershocks of this big earthquake are going to ripple literally across the nation and around the world, long after the ground stops shaking. Then there's a human cost. This is what I even shudder to think about. I used to live in San Diego. I used to travel to San Francisco. I used to travel all the time to Los Angeles and out in the desert as well. I very well comprehend what's going to happen here. After the ground stops shaking, there's a human cost that will never fully heal. Communities scattered, homes, businesses lost, families changed forever. Families changed forever. By a single afternoon, when the earth reminded everyone who's really in charge. History shows that large cities, great cities, do rebuild after great earthquakes. San Francisco rose again from its ashes, grander than ever before, but the rebuilding took a full generation. And for some people, the memory lingers far longer. The people who lived through the big one are going to carry it with them for the rest of their lives. And the cities they rebuild would forever bear the marks of the day. The fault that finally snapped. The race against the clock. Can you imagine the race against the clock? It's going to be wild, if not almost fruitless. So there are many cities from the deserts of the south to the fog-shrouded coastline to the north, each one standing in the path of the same slumbering giant. Palm Springs, Indio, trapped in the isolated giant desert. We've been showing you these areas all during this program. I've been very forthcoming with each of these cities and towns. Palm Springs and Indio are isolated in the Desert Valley, right at the likely starting point of the rupture of the earthquake. San Bernardino guarding the failed choke point of the Cajon Pass. Like I said, I've driven the Cajon Pass myself. I've been up at the railroad Cajon Pass as well, where the railroad tracks pass through the Cajon Pass. I used to love going there after work hours, in the middle of the night or first part of the morning on my days off, watching the trains pass through the Cajon Pass. I loved it. One of my most favorite parts of my life. Palm Day that I showed you. Straddling that fault line, holding the water lines of a metropolis, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Santa Barbara. Water lifelines, those giants. Water that cannot reach its lifelines anymore when they're cut. Those cities and towns are going to be cut. Those cities and towns are going to be trapped in the shaking. We show you Daly City south of San Francisco. It's serious, guys. It's serious. Daly City clinging to the very edge of the fault, even on cliffs, and San Francisco itself haunted by a disaster that has already lived through once. What ties all of them together? It's not just the shaking. It's the cruel mathematics of a giant earthquake striking a modern, interconnected society. Our cities are kept alive by invisible threads. The water, the power, the fuel, the roads, and the communications, all flowing in from somewhere else. And in California, an astonishing number of those threads must cross the illustrious San Andreas Fault to reach the people who depend on that most. When the fault moves, it's not just going to cut politely through one thread at a time. It is going to sever every one of those lifelines all at the same time, in the same violent instant across hundreds of miles. That is why help is going to struggle to arrive. Not just to San Francisco, not just to Daly City, not just to Los Angeles and the outlying cities and suburbs around there, down in San Diego, the outlying cities and suburbs around San Diego, the towns and regions around there, and out into the Imperial Valley around El Centro, California as well. The lifelines are going to be completely cut off. The very act that creates the emergency also is going to cut the pathways that rescue would travel. Emergency planners understand this better than anyone, and it's why they repeat the same urgent message over and over again. In the first days after the big earthquake, you may be on your own for a long time. The roads may be gone for good. They may be gone for a long time. The stores may be empty and unreachable. The water taps may be dry. The phones may be dead. Outside help, no matter how desperately you try to reach out to you, or they reach out to you, or you reach out to them, help is not going to be able to get to you. Not for hours, not for days, perhaps longer. The heroes of the first response will not be distant rescuers arriving in convoys. The heroes in the first days of this disaster are going to be ordinary neighbors helping each other. Ordinary neighbors helping each other out of the rubble, sharing water and surviving together until the outside world can finally break through. Living on the faulted line. Living on the faulted line is going to be easy until this time. But I hate saying this, guys. I hate saying this. These cities are doomed. I'm not one to spread false gossip. I'm not one to spread false hope. I'm not one to spread doom and gloom at all. These cities are going to be doomed. But that is not the entire truth. And it's not the point. The sand industry is going to snap. That much is certain. The plates are going to keep grinding. The pressure is going to keep building. And one day, the ground's going to heave. And these cities and suburbs, these towns and everywhere else, along with millions of other people who call them home, are going to face the most severe tests of their existence. But whether they vanish or endure is not written in stone. The difference between a catastrophe and survival lies in the choices we make long before the shaking starts. Whether we have a catastrophe or we survive lies in the choices we make long before the shaking starts. It lies in the buildings that were reinforced to sway instead of being collapsed. It lies in water systems that were designed with flexible joints that can bend across moving fault line instead of snapping. It lies in families who keep enough water and supplies to last a week or more without any outside help. It lies in communities that know that their neighbors and have a plan for the day that lifelines fail. It lies in the communities that know their neighbors, and the communities and the neighbors have a plan for the day where everything fails. The earth has given California a warning that stretches back through its entire recorded history. A warning written in the ruins of past disasters and in the silent straining rock beneath the ground. The people of these cities I've just mentioned every day live on top of the most powerful forces on earth. A slow motion collision between two pieces of the Earth's crust, two pieces of the Earth's crust, the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate, and the San Andreas Fault. This collision has been unfolding for millions of years, and it will not stop for anyone. Most of them never even think about this. The sun shines, the freeways hum, life goes on. But deep below, as I said earlier, the spring keeps winding tighter and tighter. And somewhere down there, in the dark locked rock of the southern San Andreas Fault, the countdown to the big one is still running. The only choice, the only question we have remains is whether that fateful day finally comes, when that fateful day finally comes. Not where, but when it finally comes. All of California is going to be hit, guys. North and Southern California are going to be hit. Fact. But it's going to be, the question is when it's going to hit. When it's going to hit. And are you properly prepared for when it happens? I've been talking on end for over 7.5 years. 7.5 years I've been going on about this. I've been actually going on about this a lot longer than that. I've been an emergency manager since 1994. Since 1994. I've been talking with populations, neighborhoods, cities. I've done disaster drills up and down the coastline of California. Disaster drills all over this U.S., all over the country. I've talked to the entire world on this channel. I'm talking to the entire world right now. Are any of you ready for what's going to happen? Are any of you ready for what's going to happen, guys? It's going to happen. Los Angeles, El Centro, It's all going to happen. Daly City, south of San Francisco. It's going to happen. Are you ready for it, guys? Are you prepared? I hope you are. Now go back through our channel here. Go back weeks, months, and during the past 4 years and find titles in the Emergency Management Associates channel. On this channel, titles of programs that talk about emergency preparedness in the title. Talk about emergency planning in the title. Talk about water supplies, medical supplies in the title of the program. Go back and watch those programs. Because guys, I'm giving you information you need to have to survive anything that happens, including earthquakes. Guys, I'm ready. My family and I are mostly ready. Carl's here in the chat says hi, but he's been ready as well. I hope so. I hope so, Carl's. I hope every one of you are ready, guys. I hope our moderators here are also ready. Arnold's been up in Alberta, Canada. He survived a lot of flooding recently. Unreal. If he can survive flooding, he might also survive earthquakes that are going to hit. Up in northern Alberta, Canada, they've had earthquakes as well. Vancouver, Canada has had earthquakes as well. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Quebec, Ontario, all have had earthquakes, and more earthquakes are coming. Be ready, guys. Be ready. Be ready. Even earthquakes in Arizona, they're going to happen. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here tonight. I want to play a short recording I have for all of you.
No matter how overwhelming or difficult our journey is, peace, healing, and recovery are possible. Several years ago, I met a faithful sister who was suffering from a debilitating illness. She was the only active member of her family in the church and faced not only serious health challenges, but also a difficult home situation. Yet, she remained true to the covenant she had made with the Lord in the temple. Her hope in the Savior and trust in His plan gave her the strength to keep going, even with a difficult prognosis. I visited her shortly before her passing and was struck by the light in her countenance. There was a quiet radiance that reflected her perfect hope in Jesus Christ and His redeeming love. That day, her daughter, who had been less active in the church, and her daughter's boyfriend, who was not a member, were also there. As we stood together in that sacred moment, her calm and quiet hope and faith in Jesus Christ and His plan for her touched their hearts. Though she could speak only a few whispered words, the Spirit was strong. Recently, I received news from their former bishop. The daughter's boyfriend had accepted the gospel, being baptized, and they were sealed in the temple for time and eternity. The hope this dear sister carried in Christ had continued into the next generation. Now, my friends, let me say something about the divine purpose of passing through the challenge of mortality. Through the experiences of mortality, God is shaping us into who He knows we can become. Trials can humble us, help us grow spiritually, and reminds us that we need the Lord's help. Trials can help us learn to appreciate times of peace. And most important, they give us opportunities to show the Lord and ourselves that we will be faithful. Life would be easier without trials, of course, but we wouldn't learn or grow much. When we remember this divine perspective, we can find comfort and renewed trust and strength in the Savior's love to face life and its challenges.
We can receive strength and love from Jesus Christ in facing all the challenges of our lives. What we've talked about here is real. What we've talked about tonight is real, guys. These earthquakes are going to happen. Other things are also going to happen. Well, we can survive them through our faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, doing things we've been asked to do. May God be with you. May you prepare for these emergencies and disasters that are going to befall us, not just on the West Coast, but all across the world. These are going to happen. Now, guys, today is Friday. We usually take Saturdays off unless something happens. If something major happens, we're going to be here talking about it. Already, today, here on this channel, we've talked about earthquake that struck down in Indonesia. Major earthquake that struck down in Indonesia. At least a 7.7 earthquake here. As you can see here, we have more aftershocks as well. If anything more comes of this, I'll be on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available, guys. That's what we do here on Emergency Management Associates. We're here to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available to us. So guys, stay here with us. Stay here connected to our channel. Like I said, I will be back on the air to talk about this as soon as more information becomes available. Let me go over here first and check with the National Tsunami Warning Center. Not a thing. Not a thing, guys. National Tsunami Warning Center still have not connected with the earthquake. They're not providing any information about this earthquake here. Absolutely nothing. This is current. There probably was a tsunami here today. There may be still tsunamis coming. We don't know. This was a 7.7 earthquake, guys. A major 7.7 earthquake. Usually with 7.7 earthquakes, we do have tsunamis. The last time we had a major earthquake was down here in Bali, Indonesia. A tsunami killed over 1,000 people. So as soon as we have any more information about this, we're going to get back on the air and tell you about it. As soon as information becomes available. Tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, we'll be coming back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. I ask you to be safe, be faithful to the Lord. I ask you to be prepared. Be prepared for whatever happens. We've been talking about this for many years now. It's time for us to do it. It's time for us to do it, guys. I ask you to be safe. Have the Lord's Spirit to be with you. On Sunday about 12:30, 1 o'clock, we'll be coming back on the air with a Sunday school class every Sunday. With a Sunday school class, it's called Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. We're going to be talking from the book of Ruth and Ezra. So guys, be prepared to discuss it when we come on the air during a Sunday school class on Sunday. May God be with you this day and always. May God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Take care, everybody. God bless. See you soon. Enjoy. Good night.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard, So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. A sleeping volcano. Hope you feel better. God bless you. We love you very much. See you soon. Good night. Have a great